Research is hard, but your tools should not be. Subthesis.com is the free alternative to expensive software. Whether you need to calculate Cronbach's alpha or organize your field notes, Subthesis has a tool for it. No paywalls and no registration required. Check the link in the description and let's dive into today's lesson. Welcome back to the Graduate School Prep Series. Your letters of recommendation provide something your statement of purpose cannot: external validation of your qualifications from credible sources. While your statement tells your story, recommendation letters tell admissions committees what others think of you. Strong letters can elevate borderline applications to acceptance. Weak or lukewarm letters can doom otherwise strong applications. The problem is that many applicants approach recommendations poorly. They ask the wrong people, they ask at the wrong time, they fail to provide information that helps recommenders write strong letters. The result is generic, unenthusiastic letters that fail to distinguish them from other applicants. By the end of this video, you'll know how to identify the right recommenders, how to ask appropriately, and how to help your recommenders write letters that genuinely strengthen your application. Here's what you'll learn. First, you'll understand what makes recommenders effective. Not all recommenders are equally valuable. Knowing what characteristics matter helps you choose strategically. Second, you'll learn how to request recommendations professionally. The ask matters. How you approach potential recommenders affects their willingness and ability to write strong letters. Third, you'll learn to prepare materials that help recommenders write compelling letters. Most recommenders want to help but need information from you. Providing the right materials makes their job easier and your letters better. Fourth, you'll navigate challenging situations like limited options, distant relationships, or potentially negative recommenders. Not everyone has ideal circumstances, but solutions exist for most situations. Let's start with understanding what makes letters effective. Strong letters accomplish specific things for your application. They validate claims you make elsewhere in your application. If you claim to have strong research skills, a letter from a research supervisor confirming this carries more weight than your claim alone. External validation transforms self-promotion into credible evidence. Strong letters provide specific examples of your abilities. General praise like excellent student means little. Specific examples like designed and executed an independent research project that resulted in conference presentation demonstrate rather than assert your qualifications. Strong letters compare you favorably to peers. Recommenders who can situate you among the students they've taught or supervised provide valuable context. Statements like, among the top 5 students I've mentored in 20 years, or stronger preparation than most incoming doctoral students, give admissions committees comparative information. Strong letters offer credible assessment of your potential for graduate success. Recommenders with relevant expertise can speak to whether you're likely to succeed in the specific type of work graduate school requires. Ideal recommenders share several characteristics. They know you well enough to write specifically about your abilities. A professor who taught you in a large lecture course knows less about you than one who supervised your independent project. A supervisor who worked closely with you can write more specifically than one who barely interacted with you. They can speak to skills and qualities relevant to graduate study. Strong letters address research ability, writing skill, intellectual curiosity, work ethic, and similar qualities that matter for graduate success. Choose recommenders who've observed these qualities in you. They have credibility in academic or professional contexts. Recommendations from recognized scholars or senior professionals carry more weight than those from people with limited authority or unclear relationships to your goals. Credibility transfers to their assessment of you. They will write enthusiastically, not just adequately. A lukewarm letter from a famous person helps less than a strong letter from someone less known. You want recommenders who genuinely believe in your potential and will advocate forcefully for you. Academic and professional recommenders serve different purposes. Academic recommenders, typically faculty members, speak to your scholarly potential. They've seen your academic work, know how you engage with ideas, and can assess your preparation for graduate level study. Programs value their perspective because they understand what graduate work requires. Professional recommenders, supervisors, or colleagues from work settings speak to your practical abilities. They've seen how you perform in real-world contexts, manage responsibilities, and work with others. Their perspective is valuable for professional master's programs. The appropriate balance depends on the program type and your circumstances. PhD programs strongly prefer academic recommenders because they're training researchers. Faculty assessment of your research potential matters most. Professional master's programs are often more flexible. If you've been working for years, expecting multiple academic letters may be unrealistic. Mix of academic and professional sources may be appropriate. When in doubt, check program guidance about preferred recommender types. Strong recommendations come from strong relationships, and strong relationships take time to build. Start early. If you know you'll eventually apply to graduate school, begin building relationships now. This isn't manipulative, it's strategic investment in your education and career. Participate actively in classes. Faculty notice and remember students who engage, ask questions, and contribute to discussions. Being a passive body in the classroom doesn't build relationships. Active engagement does. Seek research and project opportunities. Working with faculty outside the classroom gives them direct evidence of your abilities. Research assistantships, independent studies, and honors theses create the kind of close working relationships that produce specific strong letters. Maintain connections over time. Stay in touch with faculty and supervisors after courses or positions end. Update them on your progress. Relationships that fade away are harder to reactivate when you need recommendations. The best recommendation letters come from people who've watched you develop over time and have extensive evidence of your abilities. That evidence accumulates through sustained relationship building. The ask itself requires care. Ask in person or by video call when possible. This shows respect for the commitment you're requesting. Email is acceptable if in person isn't feasible, but face-to-face requests are stronger. Ask specifically whether they can write a strong letter. Don't just ask if they can write a letter. Anyone can write a letter. Ask whether they feel they know you well enough to write a strong, supportive letter. This gives them an easy out if they don't feel equipped to advocate for you. Give plenty of advance notice, at least 6 weeks before the deadline, preferably more. Rushed recommenders write weaker letters. Giving ample time shows respect and allows them to write thoughtfully. Accept graceful declines without pressure. If someone hesitates or suggests someone else might be better positioned, accept that response graciously. A reluctant recommender writes weak letters. You want people who are genuinely willing to advocate for you. Help your recommenders by providing useful information. Your CV or resume gives them a comprehensive view of your background. Even if they know you well, they may not know everything you've accomplished. The CV refreshes their memory and may remind them of specific achievements worth mentioning. Your statement of purpose, draft, or summary shows them your goals and how you're presenting yourself. This helps them align their letter with your narrative. If you're emphasizing research interests, they can speak to your research abilities. If you're emphasizing leadership, they can highlight relevant examples. A list of programs with deadlines and submission instructions prevents confusion and missed deadlines. Make their job easy by providing clear logistics. Many recommenders submit to multiple programs for multiple students each year. Organization helps everyone. Suggest specific accomplishments they might highlight. You know better than they do what aspects of your background are most relevant to each application. Don't dictate what they should write, but offering suggestions helps them write letters that serve your application strategy. Package information professionally in what I call a recommender packet. Include a brief reminder of your relationship and the work you did together. Professors and supervisors interact with many people. Remind them specifically of what you accomplished in their course or under their supervision. This refreshes their memory and provides concrete material for their letter. Provide talking points relevant to your applications. What qualities or experiences do you most want highlighted? What aspects of your background are most relevant? You're not telling them what to write, but you're helping them understand what would be most helpful. Share your personal statement or relevant excerpts so they understand how you're presenting yourself. Consistency between your statement and your letters strengthens your application. Contradiction between them raises questions. Organize deadline information clearly. typically by date with the earliest deadline first. Include submission method for each program. Some use online systems, others accept direct email. Make it impossible for them to miss a deadline due to confusion. Following up shows organization and appreciation. Send polite reminders before deadlines, typically about a week in advance. Recommenders are busy and may forget. A brief, courteous reminder protects your application without being pushy. Something like, I wanted to remind you that the deadline for State University is next Friday. Please let me know if you need anything from me. Confirm submission when possible. Some online systems notify applicants when letters arrive. If you have this capability, verify that letters have been submitted. If a letter is missing as a deadline approaches, you can follow up with the recommender before it's too late. Express genuine gratitude. Writing recommendations takes significant time and effort. Thank your recommenders sincerely, both when they agree to write and after they've submitted. A handwritten thank you note stands out in a world of email. Keep recommenders updated on outcomes. Let them know whether you were admitted, what you decided, and how your education or career progresses. They've invested in your success. They appreciate knowing their investment paid off. This also maintains the relationship for future needs. Most applications ask whether you waive your right to see your recommendation letters. This is an important decision. Waiving access is strongly recommended in almost all cases. When you waive your right to see letters, recommenders can write more candidly, and admissions committees view the letters as more honest and reliable. Letters written with the applicant potentially reading them are viewed with some skepticism. Confidential letters carry more weight because recommenders can write honestly without concern about the applicant's reaction. Admissions committees assume that non-confidential letters may be sanitized to avoid offending the applicant. The only reason not to waive access is if you genuinely don't trust what a recommender might write. But if you don't trust someone to write a supportive letter, why are you asking them in the first place? In practice, if you've chosen your recommenders well and followed the guidance in this video, you have nothing to fear from confidential letters. Waive your access. Not everyone has ideal recommender options. Here's how to handle common challenges. If you've been out of school for years, use professional references. Programs understand that expecting academic letters from someone who graduated a decade ago is unrealistic. Current supervisors who can speak to your abilities may be more valuable than faculty who barely remember you. If you only took large lecture classes without close faculty interaction, try to create interactions now if time permits. Meet with a former professor to discuss graduate school plans. Take an additional course that offers closer faculty contact. Building new relationships is better than relying on people who don't really know you. Career changers can mix recommenders from their previous field and their new field. Someone from your previous career can speak to your professional abilities. Someone from your new field, perhaps through recent coursework or volunteer work, can speak to your commitment to the new direction. International applicants should verify their recommenders' English capabilities. Letters that need translation or are written in non-native English may not communicate effectively. If your strongest recommenders don't write fluently in English, explore whether professional translation services are acceptable. Pay attention when potential recommenders signal hesitance. Hesitation often indicates they don't feel they can write a strong letter. If someone says they're very busy, this may be literally true, but it can also be a polite way of saying they'd rather not write for you. Give them an easy out by saying you understand if they're not able to commit. If someone suggests another person might be better positioned to write for you, they're probably right. They may know that another faculty member knows you better, or that their own letter wouldn't be as strong as you hope. Accept the suggestion. A lukewarm letter actively hurts your application. It's worse than missing a letter entirely. If someone seems reluctant, believe them and find someone else. Thank reluctant potential recommenders for their honesty. You want people who enthusiastically support your candidacy, not people who feel obligated but unenthusiastic. It's better to know now than to receive a tepid letter that undermines your application. Applying to multiple programs requires organization. Create a master tracking spreadsheet with all programs, deadlines, submission methods, and status of each letter for each program. This prevents the nightmare of discovering a missing letter after a deadline has passed. Organize information for recommenders chronologically by deadline. Present their task in the order they should complete it. This helps them manage their own time and ensures earliest deadlines get attention first. Send batch reminders when helpful rather than separate messages for each program. If 3 programs have deadlines in the same week, one reminder covering all 3 is more efficient and less annoying than 3 separate messages. Be reasonable about the total number of programs you ask any single recommender to write for. Writing personalized letters for 15 programs is a significant burden. If you're applying broadly, consider whether some programs can share letters or whether different recommenders can cover different subsets of your applications. Understanding what admissions committees look for helps you prepare recommenders. Committees value specific examples over general praise. Excellent student tells them nothing. Produce the strongest undergraduate thesis I've supervised in the past decade, demonstrating sophisticated methodological thinking and exceptional writing, tells them exactly what they need to know. Comparative rankings provide valuable context. Where does this applicant rank among students you've taught? Among research assistants you've supervised? Committees want to know not just that you're good, but how good relative to your peers. Evidence of skills relevant to graduate work matters specifically. Can this person handle advanced coursework, conduct independent research, write at a sophisticated level, manage the ambiguity and self-direction graduate work requires? Committees can detect the difference between genuine enthusiasm and polite obligation. A letter that reads as though the recommender genuinely believes in the applicant carries different weight than one that reads as professional courtesy. Certain elements in letters raise red flags for admissions committees. Brevity suggests limited knowledge. A letter of 1 paragraph or a few brief sentences indicates the recommender doesn't know the applicant well enough to say much. Strong recommenders have plenty of material to work with and write substantive letters. Faint praise or qualified statements concern readers. Phrases like adequate performance or one of the better students in the class or perform tasks as assigned don't inspire confidence. Compare these to exceptional performance, the best student I've taught, and consistently exceeded expectations. Focus on irrelevant qualities suggests the recommender is struggling to find relevant things to say. A letter emphasizing that someone is nice and friendly when the committee needs to assess research potential misses the point. Late submission can signal the recommender's priority level. While sometimes unavoidable, chronic late submission suggests the recommender doesn't feel the applicant deserves extra effort. You can't control what recommenders write, but by choosing well and preparing them thoroughly, you reduce the risk of these red flags appearing in your letters. Different program types value different letter content. PhD programs prioritize research potential. Letters should address intellectual curiosity, methodological sophistication, original thinking, and ability to conduct independent research. Academic recommenders who've supervised research are ideal. Professional master's programs value practical capabilities. Letters should address leadership, teamwork, problem solving, and real-world effectiveness. Professional recommenders who've seen you perform in work contexts are valuable. Clinical programs emphasize interpersonal skills alongside academic ability. Letters should address empathy, communication, ethical reasoning, and ability to work with diverse populations. Supervisors from clinical or service settings provide relevant perspective. Brief your recommenders on what type of program you're applying to and what that program likely values. Help them understand what aspects of your background are most relevant to highlight. A letter perfect for PhD applications might miss the mark for professional programs and vice versa. Plan your recommendation timeline carefully. 3 to 4 months before your first deadline, identify potential recommenders and evaluate who can write the strongest letters. Consider your options and make strategic choices before reaching out. 2 to 3 months before deadlines, make your requests. This gives recommenders time to decline gracefully if needed and allows you to find alternatives. It also signals that you're organized and respectful of their time. 6 to 8 weeks before deadlines, provide all supporting materials. Your recommender packet with CV, statement, program list, and talking points should be complete and organized. The more prepared you are, the easier their job becomes. 1 to 2 weeks before deadlines, send polite reminders. Even committed recommenders get busy and may forget. A brief, courteous reminder protects your applications without being pushy. This timeline assumes traditional fall deadlines. Adjust accordingly for programs with rolling admissions or different deadline schedules. The recommendation process shouldn't end when letters are submitted. Express sincere thanks after recommenders submit their letters. A handwritten note stands out. Acknowledge the time and effort they invested in supporting your application. Update recommenders on your admission decisions and your final choice. They've invested in your success and deserve to know the outcome. Share your excitement about where you're headed and thank them for helping you get there. Stay in touch during graduate school and beyond. These are professional relationships worth maintaining throughout your career. Periodic updates keep you on their radar and may lead to future collaborations, references, or opportunities. When you're eventually in a position to recommend others, pay it forward. Write strong, specific letters for students and junior colleagues who deserve support. Remember how much the process meant to you and invest the same care in supporting the next generation. Let's summarize the key principles for strong recommendation letters. Choose recommenders who know you well enough to write specifically and will write enthusiastically about your candidacy. A strong letter from someone who knows you well beats a generic letter from someone famous. Fit matters. Ask professionally with plenty of advance notice. Request strong letters, not just letters. Give recommenders time to write thoughtfully. Accept declinations gracefully and find alternatives when needed. Provide materials that help recommenders write the strongest possible letters. Your CV, statement, program information, and suggested talking points make their job easier and your letters better. Invest effort in preparation. Follow up appropriately with reminders before deadlines and thanks after submission. Maintain relationships with recommenders over time. These professional connections benefit you throughout your career. In our next video, we'll discuss the differences between CVs and resumes for graduate applications, ensuring you present your credentials in the right format. Thank you for your attention, and I'll see you in the next video. Writing the thesis is a marathon, not a sprint, but you do not have to run it alone. If you are feeling stuck with your data or overwhelmed by your sources, let us help. Head over to subthesis.com. It is completely free and designed to make your life easier. You are making progress. Keep going. And don't forget to subscribe for more support.